Have you ever thought that maybe, just maybe, one of the oldest epic poems in the world is actually a practical guide for your life? Well, today, we're going to dive into a really fascinating perspective on the Mahabharata, not as some dusty old history, but as a manual for getting through the here and now. Let's check it out.
Right out of the gate, the source material we're looking at makes this incredibly bold claim. This book contains your whole life. I mean, just let that sink in for a second. It's a powerful statement that totally reframes the entire epic. It's not a story, it's not history, it's a mirror reflecting our own lives. That's the big idea we're going to unpack.
Okay, so how do we even begin to wrap our heads around that? Well, the very first step is to completely change how we think about the Mahabharata. We have to move past seeing it as just another ancient story or some piece of folklore.
So you have the old view, right? That's how we usually see it. A myth, a classic tale about gods and epic battles. But the perspective we're exploring today offers a totally new view, that the Mahabharata is actually a manual, a guide that pretty much maps out every single human problem, every moral crossroads, every emotion you could possibly feel. The idea is that our lives are already in its pages.
All right, so if it's a life manual, how do we get the wisdom out of it? The argument is that it doesn't start with just reading the words. It starts with a very specific mindset. You have to respect where the knowledge comes from.
It all begins with this shloka. It's a verse in Sanskrit that's basically an instruction given before the story even gets going. And its meaning? Well, that's the key to unlocking everything else.
So what it's saying is it's an invocation. It's asking the reader to first bow to the source of the story before they even try to find the truth inside it. This sets up a huge principle right away. You can't learn without a little humility, especially when you're facing this kind of wisdom.
And then, the invocation zooms in, getting even more specific. It points us right to the person who put all of this epic knowledge together.
That respect is aimed directly at Vyasa, the sage who is credited with composing and organizing the entire Mahabharata. So the text is basically telling us, hey, before you even try to read this life manual, first, you have to acknowledge the incredible mind that put it all together for you.
Okay, so once we've established that foundation of respect, now we can start to get a feel for the sheer size and depth of this thing. And it's not just long for the sake of being long, it's incredibly deep.
Just to give you an idea of the scale we're talking about, the main text has 24,000 shlokas, or verses. That makes it one of the longest epic poems ever written, period. But here's the kicker. While the number of verses is a hard number you can count, their meaning is a whole different story.
And this is where it gets really interesting. You have a finite number of verses, but they produce an infinite number of meanings. Every story, every character can be seen in countless ways, offering a totally different lesson to a different person or even to the same person at a different point in their life.
And that really is the main takeaway here. It's one single book, but its ability to teach you something new is endless. It's like a well of wisdom that never, ever runs dry.
But with a universe of meaning this big, what holds it all together? What's the philosophical glue? Well, the source material points to 4 key principles at its very core.
See, the whole text is built on this foundation of 4 ideas. Dharma, which is all about your duty and doing the right thing. Satya, which is truth. Daya, or compassion. And Shama, forgiveness. And these aren't just abstract concepts. They are the very forces that every single character in the story is struggling with. And this leads to a really cool way of looking at Krishna. The argument is that he's not just a character, not even a divine one. He is the living, breathing embodiment of these principles. He is the balance, that constant force trying to pull everything back towards Dharma, back towards what's right, in the middle of all the chaos.
So all of this, the scale, the principles, the balance, it's all building up to the final, ultimate conclusion. The one line that connects this ancient text directly to your life, right here and right now.
And that brings us to what might be the most famous shloka about the Mahabharata. It's a statement made from within the text itself, a declaration of its own purpose and its incredible universality.
The meaning is just profound. It says, what is found here can be found elsewhere. What is not found here cannot be found anywhere. In other words, every single human emotion, every situation, every moral conflict, every joy, every sorrow, if it's a part of the human experience, you will find it in the pages of the Mahabharata.
And just like that, we're back where we started, but with a much deeper appreciation for what it means. The conclusion is simple, really, but it's huge. The Mahabharata isn't just a story. It is a full, comprehensive manual for life.
So this leaves us with one final, pretty deep question to think about. If this ancient book really does contain every piece of our lives, our wins, our losses, our search for meaning, then it really makes you look inward and ask yourself, what chapter of this epic story are you writing today?